How the hell did I join? I wasn't even in the game.
Wait,
I'm
wait, wait.
like,
It's 13:50.
let's not talk about it. I don't know. Well,
Wait,
it'll run through. It's fine.
by the way, they can see the stream.
your skin for so long. Oh, I am in your head, so tell me, is it wrong? Oh, you fell under my my spell. I know it's right. What I can, my spell. And I hide my spell. My steam fell under my spell. My spell, my spell. You fell under my spell. My spell, my spell. You fell under my spell. You fell under my spell. You fell under my spell.
Good evening, FDL. The time is upon us for the last grand finals of Season 6. It has been a roller coaster, to say the very least. I am joined with Kin for tonight. Kin, how are you doing?
Oh boy, it's gonna be a long night. We already know. Up to 15 games. Hornets, Coyotes. The Stealth Conference representing the Expert League very well. Oh boy, it's gonna be a long night, isn't it?
It is, but you know what? It's going to be even longer for the teams because not only do we have to sit through and watch them, but they got to play through these. And these teams are very familiar with each other. They've already played them twice, and the Hornets have beaten them both times. So me putting 23,000 channel points on the Coyotes might have been a mistake. But we might never know. It could go in the favor of the Coyotes with this format. I gotta say, Ken, and I were both in this format. What do you, if the Coyotes have this kind of faulty record against the Hornets, what do the Coyotes need to do in this series to come back into that?
For the Coyotes, I think it comes down to how do your two top players play? Because Flight Night, from experience, is way better than I think his salary pretends. There's a good demo for him, but I think it's really you got to contain the Hornets' big players and shut down Flight Night's support.
Absolutely, Flight Night is a very aggressive player. He is made for twos, I would have to say. He is. If he's on offense, you might want to get that ball as far away from your half as possible. But it's game one. And these players, I mean, they're playing at least 6 games in a sweep if they even get that lucky. But we could be here FDL after hours. And I think Kin is ready for that one more than I am. But the Coyotes starting it off with some good attempts on the Hornets net, but nothing comes through as of yet. Both teams just kind of testing the waters. Some of these shots coming in from midfield line. Coyotes definitely getting a little bit closer than the Hornets are.
Yeah, we see a little bit more control from the Coyotes in general. Some couple like long bangs from the Hornets, and maybe some miscommunications at times, but overall it's been pretty even so far for both teams.
Hornets given so much space. Oh, a double commit. They only get away with Senfis in the middle of that Coyote sandwich, and Flight Knight to score. That was honestly a thing of beauty from my perspective watching that from Flight Knight.
Yeah, Flight Knight is just like, huh, everyone's gone. Everyone went flying, demoed, and he's just like, well, there's an open net, let me shoot. Doesn't matter how hard I hit it, just put it on net.
One of the hardest things to hit might be an open net, but I don't think Flight Knight's going to miss those with the amount of pressure on, and even more pressure from Ant. This is the second Hornets team in the history of the franchise to ever be in a grand final. The other one just lost to the Rams in Star League, but they have a second opportunity to do it here, and they might be considered the favorites for the match. Would be something incredible to see. Unsung right into the middle for Amazon to come away with goal. Huge play.
Yeah, really smart from him. Gets the bounce, throws it mid, and Amazon's waiting there. Zenfis is trying, but he's not quite there. Ties it up and signs of life from both teams.
Yeah. You were right. We were going to be here for a very long time. Well, let's just take a look at the histories between these two teams. How did the matches go before? Were they sweeps or were they game 5s? Oh no, the one was a game 5. Oh no. Hornets scored? Oh, and the other one was game 4. So, take that as you will, but Amazon scoring for the Coyotes, taking the lead right back in a bad trip in some place. It's not the end of the world.
No. Easy to recover from, but you know, one thing, what lineups are both teams running currently? How do those stack up currently?
So the Coyotes actually have 2 13s as their second player, so whether this is A or B is up to them completely, but the Hornets are running their C lineup, which is interesting. So we might have a little cab versus back action. Some of the 2 popular ones to see, but Hornets get away with a win for their C lineup. That is very dangerous for the Coyotes.
Absolutely. I think at that point it's gonna be tough because I mean Dan waiting in the wings, right? He's probably definitely consider him to be the main carry of this Hornets team, and having to win 2 series against him. Oh, what a bump!
Yeah, I mean, 2 series against Dan. He's a 13-9. The highest player for the Coyotes is a 13-3. That's a big skill gap, but then you also trend down. Like, the Coyotes are all played towards the middle. They've got 2 13s and a 13-3, whereas the Hornets, they have that 13-9 salary, but then they're backed up by a 12-4 and a 12-1. While we say Flight Knight is better than a 12-1 salary, potentially, it still comes down to the fact that the lowest salaries are much lower than the Coyotes all around.
Ooh.
That one a little bit too awkward to handle. Hornets take the lead right back.
Yeah, Flight Knight just keeps putting things on net. You know, they don't have to be strong shots. They just have to get by people. And he's making it real hard for the Coyotes.
Those simple shots, though, it's definitely not one that the Coyotes want to keep letting in. They definitely want their opponent to work for it a little bit harder than they have been already, because all the goals that the Hornets have gotten have been relatively free. The Coyotes, oh, there we go. Punish that one, Unsung. Oh, no, I cursed it. Oh, no.
Every time, Chris. Why?
Every time. Well, at least we won't get all 15 games.
Yeah, woo.
I did that one for you, kid.
I hate
so
you. Back to the game.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, Coyotes, if they lose this game, they might look at that one and say, like, a what-if moment, but Semphis has Flight Knight. The angle just off, and he couldn't get back around for the dish. Incredible effort from them, but a minute to go. Coyotes hunting for what could have been an equalizer. Flight Knight turns it away.
I'd say Flight Knight not dealing with any nerves at the moment. He's calm and composed here. Oh. Ah.
I think that's one of the great things that Flight Knight actually brings to this team, though. He is very confident in his play. And I don't know if you guys have been around the general chat. Dan has also been huge for his team in the confidence as of late, waiting for this matchup. They've had to wait for nearly 2 weeks to find out their opponents. And I don't think they're going to skip a beat 1 second trying to take control, find that lead early. And it's just a matter of time before Flight Knight goes for that bump, and it's just off target.
That was a really smart play from him. That was actually a really good idea. Like, it didn't work, but if he keeps doing that, it's going to be really hard for the Coyotes to do anything, it feels like.
Yeah, I think the Hornets definitely benefit more in a 1v1 situation. And the bumps just, in a 1v1 situation, impossible shot to save. You have to play it either very patient or very fast. But right now, we might be looking at overtime. Double touch denied from Unsung, and it will be just that.
So, I mean, we kept bringing up 15 games. What if it's 15 overtimes?
Let alone 7 overtimes in just a best of 7 is
Shot.
crazy enough. Oh, Amazon wanted that only ended in 8 seconds, but 15 overtimes. We might need to call for some timeouts in the future, because 15 overtimes is a crazy amount. Even just playing ranked or whatever, these teams could be in it for the long haul. Because, you know what, we're going to have to check what the longest overtime in FDL in general is. Because they're typically not long, but it could be wild coming into this one.
Good from Unsung. Flight Knight's gotten some demos so far. I like what I'm seeing from him. Shot? Oh. Semphis had a chance. Flight Knight shoots, and it's in, and Hornets take game 1.
Patrick on the name, but that demo from Flight Knight opened everything up right off of that. The bumps coming in, Amazon awkward, both of them front post, nothing left, and Hornets game 1 win. C lineup in hand, making it look not terribly easy, but they are picking away at all their opportunities, and wow, is that some shooting from Flight Knight.
Plenty of shots, plenty of pressure, and like we said, he just kept putting things on net and making the Coyotes work for it. And use that boost, and the demos from him were huge. Just really good showing from him in game 1.
Yeah, you know what? The Coyotes working really good on the offensive side for themselves. Definitely, it's looking more like Hornets kind of cleaning up solo plays maybe a little bit, but Coyotes 3 for 3 on the goals and assists. That's not bad. And then 4 saves to follow that up from the Hornets. Like, Coyotes were dangerous on offense. They just gave away too many freebies for the Hornets. And I think the Coyotes, they just fixed some of those little mistakes. Easily, they could have won that game without overtime.
Definitely. We saw the Coyotes kind of giving, I think, a little bit too much space to the Hornets and letting those 1v1s develop. And if they challenge a little earlier, they probably are able to maintain possession and not deal with those 1v1s. So I think if they start challenging a little earlier, it might help them just prevent some of those awkward defensive situations.
Now, Ken, do you actually know if this is Flight Knight's first season in FDL? Because I know all these players have played a lot, but I don't know if Flight Knight played last season or not.
Let me take a look. I am pretty sure he has played before, though. I
can confirm as well. He has played in season 3, 4, and 6. So I don't think there's a single player in here that isn't a veteran. Except, it's nonsense. Is this his first season? This is his first season, but he's not in quite yet.
I don't think Dan played at all last season.
No, Dan played in season 5. Oh, he was
didn't have any games.
Never found a team. Yes, so this would be his first as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the nerves go for him. Shot from Unsung. Nice. Good start from the Coyotes. Again, the assists and the passing plays are definitely there for them.
Yeah, and I thought Amazon was going to have that double touch, but kind of lucky that they didn't because Flight Knight was there trying to play the shot, but the shot never comes through, so it's just Unsung on an easy cleanup. Just got to put it between 2 posts, and sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do, but make it work there. And I don't think the Hornets have the best defense as of yet. They haven't been able to hold off this Coyotes, strike team that's come through. They're 100% for assists on goals, so a very dangerous combo clearly in the works, but we'll have to see
What a
because
bump.
Bump just opens up everything.
Wow. All right, this Hornets team, the bumps and demos it's really a clash of styles, it feels like. Because we haven't seen any of that from the Coyotes so far, and the Hornets keep getting really good, well-timed bumps. It's not like they're just chasing, they're getting good timing on it and supporting each other with the bumps. Awkward for Flight Knight.
Yeah, I think twos is the best place to amplify demos as well.
Ooh.
Amazon doesn't even let me get a word in before they take the lead right back. Incredible top left shot.
Alright, so we're going to take some points away because there was no assist, and that ruins the 100% rate there. A pretty good shot from him. I think we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Random fun fact, actually. The only person to have 100% goal participation in the entirety of the FPL is Mr. Doomster himself from, I think, 2 seasons ago. 100% goal participation the entire season.
Entire season?
Season, yeah.
Oh boy.
It was wild to see that. You have to go back and look at that. That was one of the greatest performances from a player, but yeah, Coyotes, while they don't need each other for every goal, it seems, they do have that potential to pull out solo plays in them. So, add that one into the bag of tricks. How do the Coyotes actually utilize that? Well, it's just sniped away, and Unsung comes away with a goal for his own.
Yeah, probably a little overcommit there from Senfis. Flight Knight needs to get a better pass if he's going to go for that. Otherwise, exactly what just happened is what's always going to happen. They're going to get an easy breakaway, settle it, and just put a shot on net.
14 on the clock, and the Coyotes definitely looking like they probably should have, looking at the matchups. The Hornets, so close trailing. Flight Knight, not a great 50. Amazon pulls it all the way back down into the Hornets' half. He's got some time, but he's also got Unsung in the midfield to work with. Top shot is denied from the crossbar. Trying to make it still work. Actually gets a little bit too aggressive and gives it away for free.
Yeah, big capitalization from Senfis. Hornets still in this, still putting up a good fight. I think they just need to, short some of those overcommits and things, but another overtime game, what do you say?
Oh, man. A little bit of me really wants the 15 overtime game to happen, but I really don't want that to happen. It's really a conflict of interest, but I think the Hornets might just be able to pull us back into an overtime if the rest of this game goes well, but they're putting a lot into the offensive plays. They're just giving the entire back half for the Coyotes to work with, and it's so uncontested. It's just free goal after free goal. The Coyotes will take it. They want that game just to tie up this series because they got another one to go. So, well done from the Coyotes, but the Hornets, I mean, defense doesn't always win games, but they might start thinking about what they need to fix.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of it is, I think it's been twice Flight Knight's gone for the pass, and it hasn't quite hit. Oh, what a pass and a shot from Unsung. Lost track of who people were that time.
Absolutely beautiful. Amazon sees Unsung. Flight Knight's going for the corner boost, and Senfis just a second too slow. That is one of the things that the Coyotes have. I think they have that team chemistry that just works a little bit better right now than the Hornets. So we'll have to see. Hornets, because this is a C lineup, I don't expect too much, and I don't want to belittle either of the players, but this is kind of what you're getting with, the best player from the Coyotes on the field. They're gonna make these types of plays work out.
I think the big thing is for the Hornets is you got to get some of those passes from the corner to work a little bit better. We've seen get cut off. I mean, you can also just do that. You can also just, take out Amazon, take that off the field. And then what do you do if you're the Coyotes?
The good old bread and butter of the Hornets right now. Take out the last man and just put it in the net. I love it every time, too, they get demoed. The last remaining Coyotes player just stops wherever they landed on the field. It might be tilting enough for the Hornets to come away with a win. And that might be one of the factors that goes into the game. Is it tilting enough on the Coyotes' behalf? Because, yeah, you only score in demos. That is gonna raise some flags. That is gonna start something in the chat, maybe. But Hornets, far from out of it yet. Only down by 2 with 1:20 to go.
How many times have I heard that in ranked? You only scored because you demoed. All the time. And it means they're just tilted, yep.
And, Amazon just returning that demo. Almost opened it up, but Unsung always looking for that infield pass. Amazon wasn't there to connect now, but sometimes it's going to give away too much pressure. Senfis now looking for Flight Knight, but a little bit out of position. Flight Knight has to play it from the back wall now, but it's infield to Unsung from Amazon. You cannot stop this dynamic duo right now.
Yeah, great pass. I don't mind the idea from Flight Knight to play that slow. We've seen them get burned on some over-aggression on passes, but I think he has to get back a little sooner and make a better challenge if he's going to play that slow like that.
Yeah, and you know what? Amazon is the top player for the Coyotes, which means that Dan will play in at least the next one and the one after that. So Amazon, if this goes to a game 5 or the third set, is this bad for them? Do they get a win here and then throw in a C lineup instead? It's a lot that has to be factored in with, putting everything on the plate. Like, Coyotes could go for a quick 1-2 win off A and B lineups, but what else comes from this? I don't know. This is a great turnaround from the first game for the Coyotes. Far from out of it are the Hornets, but dominating win here to tie up the first set.
Absolutely, we saw the offense. The offense kept working just like it did in the first game, but they did a better job. Like I said in the first game, challenging a little earlier and shutting down the one-on-one plays that the Hornets were getting. The demos are still a problem. I'd say that if anything is going to be the downfall of the Coyotes in this set, it's if Flight Knight can keep getting those demos and keep causing chaos in the back lines.
Yeah, the demos are definitely one of the things that Coyotes, they just have to keep looking over their shoulder. Where is that player at? Am I putting the ball to my teammate, or is my teammate just going to be taken off the field? It's a very, very difficult thing to manage, but 5 goals and 4 assists from Amazon. That is insane shooting. I believe the man, the myth, the legend, KC said it himself, that we value assists more than goals. And I think the Coyotes have kind of replicated that here to the fullest extent. 4 assists. Like, you don't always want to rely on your teammate to get that open space, but the fact that they're utilizing each other this well is very, very concerning looking at the rest of this set.
Yeah, it's always a good sign when you have as many assists as the other team has shots. I'd say that's a pretty good metric to go by. Chances are you're going to win if you do that.
That is actually pretty brutal. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Hornets only got 4 shots the last game. But they had 3 goals to it, so that's good shooting accuracy. But I believe majority of those were off of demos, so they got to find some other way to break down that Coyotes. And, the demos, sure. But start looking at those infield passes. Start cutting off the plays from the Coyotes, because they're passing a lot. But there's always going to be a second opportunity to strike when that ball is, transferring from one player to the other. So Hornets, after that game loss, they don't want to go down for the first set, but Coyotes looking super strong after that one. It's game 3 underway.
Ooh. Like I had a shot there.
Unsung 2 off the double. Contact Senfis. Gonna clear that one long. This is a good setup for the Hornets, but Unsung's first to it. The speed from the Coyotes right now might just be outpacing the Hornets.
Ooh. It's open. Oh. Okay.
It was open, but I don't know what happened there in the midfield. Maybe they both called it and then no one went for it. It's communication, but now they're finding each other. Senfis trying to take it to the sky, but Unsung shuts him down. Flight Knight backflip. It's going to drop straight down. Unsung is playing for the other
genius.
team for a second.
That was a clear.
Very interesting to see, but is the Coyotes... No, they don't come away with goal. This is such a pace change from the last game. The Hornets actually being able to play up to the Coyotes' pace. It seems Unsung might have Amazon in the midfield. Bang!
Cool. Alright, that was a mess. Like a minute and a half of just a mess and then really good passing play. You're like, hold on a minute, we're playing Rocket League now. That's the beauty of Expert League, is you never know what's going to happen.
This is... I really hope this doesn't go to the fifth game, because I think we might just get all 15 out of it if this first one does. Has me concerned, but the Hornets... Honestly, I would say they're looking the best that they have in this game alone. In terms of keeping up with the Coyotes, I believe the Coyotes have them fairly outpaced in terms of moving around the field and utilizing their teammates, but the Hornets, they just seem a little bit faster this game, and sometimes that might just be all you need to, you know, come away with a win. It's just be a half a second sooner to the ball, and you might come away with something great, but Amazon finds Unsung in the midfield, but doesn't connect for the goal.
Yeah, I think that pace can... Ooh, good demo from Unsung. Well, I think sometimes that pace, you know, can be a problem if you are just rushing things. But I think for them, I think it is important that they match that pace. Unsung, taking a page out of the Hornets book with some demos, put a little extra pressure on, see if you can catch him out of position going a little too fast, maybe. But...
Unsung almost finding that one. I think he wanted it to hit the ceiling, but just barely fell short. And Flight Knight, I think, was getting a little physical with Amazon in the midfield. He's going to have that 1v1 for a second, but the challenges from the Coyotes just so fast to handle. Oh, and it's right off the post, and Amazon takes out the shooter. It's going back down the other way. Coyotes looking for the demo again. Flight Knight off the respawn. Awkward to handle. Unsung denied from Senfis.
Cool clutch from Senfis. Crazy sequence there. Another flick. Downfield. Another save from Senfis, but Unsung's there. Senfis can't make the save, and Unsung puts it in.
Oh, it's so close, too. The challenges. Senfis makes the first save, but just barely clips that front post and cannot land right. Oh, man, Coyotes. They have to work for it, but they're making it count each time. The Hornets can't find anything. They can't even find a lot of demos. The Coyotes have been destroying them at their own game, too. Amazon just driving it around the field. I mean, Coyotes in firm control and might actually take their first win in a best-of-5 versus the Hornets. That would be something to already start the pace and might make me feel better about my 23,000 channel points.
Yeah. Well, I feel pretty good no matter what about my 10 channel points on the Coyotes, so... On the Hornets, I mean. So, you know. Win or lose, I get to watch good Rocket League. That's what matters.
Go, Unsung. Trying to push that midfield line. Doesn't need a goal, but just to get that insurance. Amazon takes a weak one towards net. Senfis backward. Having to deal with it. Flight Knight finds him back in the midfield. Excellent passing play from the Hornets.
Very nice. A little awkward from the Coyotes, but really good just recognition of, I have space, I can just bang this over him. Senfis puts it away. Hornets still in this.
Better late than never, too. 41 seconds. A good kickoff here can really ease the tension from the Hornets. But they got to get it by Coyotes, and they've been very good with their challenges. Amazon going to jump and bail early. Unsung pops this one up for Flight Knight. Takes it back down, looks for the control. 50. Going even. Senfis? Oh, not quite on target.
awkward bounce. I think they had a shot there to get pressure, but the bounce kind of killed all of it.
Final 10 seconds too. Flight Knight. He's just got to get it back all the way downfield. He's got Unsung and looking a little bit awkward, but the clear out of the corner makes it work. Demo opens it up. Senfis keeps it alive for maybe one more touch. Oh, it's still up. Oh, Senfis. Oh, didn't expect the dead ball off the wall. Coyotes up 2-1 now. Looking good for the rest of this one.
There were definitely some sequences from both teams that they probably went back. There were definitely some moments that had us scratching our heads, I'd say. But I think both teams could be pretty happy with how that game went. Unsung had some good offensive moments. Good pass. I mean, again, good passing plays from the Coyotes. Every goal in this game was assisted for both teams, so it's time there.
Just to follow up that too, this was the lowest shooting game thus far. I mean, Coyotes, the winning team, they both had 4 shots each. I mean, that's relatively tame from what we've already seen in shots. I think game 1, the Hornets, they won. They had 11 shots, and I think the Coyotes that lost still had 9. I mean, Hornets have been averaging at least 4 shots a game, but that is they kind of slowed it back. The pace, kind of a little bit off for that game. But I think that's also because the Hornets were playing a little bit faster. They were on top of it that time to the Coyotes. They just couldn't come away with any goals, but you also didn't see that many demos coming out for them. So it's interesting to see how this is already developed, because this could be the last game. If the Coyotes come away with a win, they take the first set, they only have to win one more. Like, easy peasy on paper, but in retrospect, it would have been more difficult. And game 4? Game 4 is underway.
I think we saw, the overall pace. Ooh, that might be on. Good save from Flight Knight. I think the pace of motion was definitely faster, but we saw a lot slower paced offenses, I think, is what we saw the last game. So even though they're moving faster, some of the shots weren't coming. Double hit from the Coyotes, but no punish from the Hornets, and they have a shot going downfield. Pass from Unsung off the backboard. Amazon's up, met by Flight Knight.
Senfis will just beat out by Unsung as well. Trying to wrap this one back around. Flight Knight takes the 50. It's good for now. Amazon not willing to push up for it, given all of the space that the Hornets had to deal with. Senfis, roller into the wall. Oh, it's a great pinch out middle, but Flight Knight also just a little bit too far back. I don't think anyone's willing to overcommit, especially the Hornets right now. But sometimes you might just have to take those risks. Amazon, a little bit awkward in this play. Awkward for the game. Oh, Unsung just takes a shot. Uncontested in the net.
That's what you call a bang. You just whacked that one to goal, and no Hornets really close to the ball.
I don't think Senfis expected the shot. In all honesty, I didn't even expect the shot. I was watching it, and I didn't even see Senfis or Unsung go for that one. Flight Knight was waiting for the pass in field. Nothing came. I mean, Unsung has this way of playing that's just so sudden for how much power he gets on the ball that throws his opponents off. It's scarily good how often he does it, and you still never expect it. And Coyotes up by 1, but now they're down by a player.
You said you weren't sure Senfis expected and you didn't expect it. We can't even be sure Unsung expected that to be a shot on net. I know sometimes he'll just hit the ball and be like, oh, I guess I shot it. I do the same thing sometimes. And every once in a while, it's a good thing. Good pass from Senfis. Flight Knight's there. That's on. Great infield passing play from Senfis from the corner there.
And I mean, Unsung had the right idea. Pre-jumping that in the midfield just because he knew the shot was coming in. But Flight Knight delays the touch a little bit, uses the bottom of his car. Incredible foresight from both players. But the attacker, all of the control on that play, Unsung has to play to where the shot is going to be. It makes it work really well. That is what we want to see out of the Hornets. Spice it up a little bit more. We know what they're capable of. We want to see it go to 5. Unsung Long shot finds Amazon, redirect off the crossbar. Unsung skies it. And Senfis right back down the other way. Too fast to handle.
Really good opportunities from the Coyotes. You can't blame him for going for that like that. Senfis makes him pay, but Coyotes are going to be happy with that sequence, I think, in the end.
This is the first lead they've had in a very long time, too. I think the last time they had a lead was game 1, so they're adapting. They are playing to the Coyotes, and I don't think Amazon looks as comfortable as he has in this series. This is the most awkward he's looked, but I think that's also credit to how the Hornets are playing. They are doing a very good job of shutting down the Hornets at the midfield line, just like Senfis right there. Challenging before Amazon even gets the look at ball cam. Unsung off the drop, just has to play it away. Flight Knight trying to take control, but Coyotes! Oh, Unsung almost got away with one out of nowhere. Did he get sent to the moon after that?
It felt like he came from space or somewhere, real far away. Flight Knight! Oh. Unsung was trailing him that whole time.
That roller coaster of emotions. Unsung almost out of nowhere comes away with the sneakiest goal I think I've ever would have seen. And then Flight Knight turns around for a 2v1. That's incredible. And now they've got a 2-goal lead. Amazon denied from Senfis yet again. Maybe savior of the series right now. Still keeping it out. And the transition down in the midfield. Amazon waiting, but still. Senfis doing a lot for his team.
Yep, gotta get it clear here for the Hornets. Gotta keep the momentum up and not let the Coyotes get back into this minute and a half. You can definitely hold the lead, but that's not what you want. Unsung's gonna shoot that and bring it back within 1.
Oh man. Flight Knight had so much more time with that too, and I think he notices that. He great passed himself in the chat. But Hornets don't get too jumpy. They've got the lead. They don't have to. They can play patient in a sense. If players coming at you, sure, take a 50, maybe make a move before you want to, but you've got the time to work with. You got a minute on the clock. Well, Coyotes starting up their pressure again. Senfis. I'll probably reference his name when I look at saves for this first set, but he has done an incredible job so far. Coyotes, they only need to win this one to force the second set, but Hornets are in firm control, I would say, regardless of how close the score is.
I mean, they definitely have the luxury of a lead here. Oh, passing play from Amazon. Amazon delivers into the net.
Oh, no.
It's tied up.
I believe that might be another Kursekin, so we'll add that one to the tally mark. That might be, I think, 3 now. The Coyotes just bursts of so much pressure at a single time. Just enough to make the Hornets crack. Senfis met by Unsung early in the corner. Oh, this one's just floating on target. Oh my god, it's a double whip on the goal line to keep it out. 30 seconds and we're all tied up. After surely what would have been a Coyotes lead. Unsung keeps the pressure up. Flight Knight trying to keep it out, keep it in the corner, but the 50 comes through again. Senfis clear out, but Amazon keeps it in. We might see overtime, we might not. Coyotes are still on the hunt.
Hornets can't get a clear. They keep trying, they keep going for these. They haven't been able to get it out of their own half. One more chance for the Coyotes here. Flight Knight's got to get into the corner. Twisted up the wall. Amazon challenges. Dropping down. Overtime.
Oh my gosh, and I don't think you can call it any closer for the Hornets on that one. And right off the kickoff, back into the same corner that it was on. Flight Knight missed the corner boost. Senfis puts the ball into no man's land. Excellent touch to give them so much space, but the early challenge gonna leave the Coyotes without a clear. Flight Knight takes one towards net. Amazon, good save, and Flight Knight on his way out. He was looking for that bump onto Amazon so Senfis could come through. Hornets might just be on the hunt again for demos. Open it up when the Coyotes least expect it. But still, to no avail. Coyotes just trying to keep it out of their net and find that Hornets half again.
Yeah, I mean, if once the Coyotes get there, it feels like their set offense is just so good. 50, Amazon's up. He whiffs. Oh, he's gonna want that one back. Hornets have a chance now. Breakaway. Semphis takes the boost, has ball. Looking for a pass mid to Flight Knight. Is he there? Sent to the corner instead.
Oh my gosh. And it was a double miss by the Coyotes. We have not seen that yet. Coyotes might be a little bit shaken, might get a little bit stirred out of how this game has gone. Flight Knight on target. Amazon can get back in time. Semphis still keeps it in the half, but Unsung just one touch to get it to the midfield. Amazon looks to follow it up. Semphis, huge pinch off the ground. Coyote, oh my god, Unsung sends it right back into the midfield. Just some ping pong going on now.
Settling in overtime. Gets to Amazon, but it's going mid. Unsung probably isn't there. Double commit from the Hornets might leave this open for Unsung. Shot on.
No.
That'll do it.
That one's a tilter too, Kevin. Hornets, they definitely should have felt like they should have won that one, I believe. Even all the pressure that the Coyotes had at the end of this game, I still think the Hornets probably could feel robbed after that one. Coyotes going to take the first set 3-1. We won't get all 15. So one curse of the night is officially broken. But wow, did the Coyotes have to work for it in that game 4.
They definitely had to work for it. And I mean, with the overtimes, you might say that there were 5 games worth of time, but that's even though they lost this series, this first set, I think it's a good sign for the Hornets that they were competitive with their bottom lineup. They definitely made the Coyotes work. I mean, the 2 overtime games, they took game 1. They looked really good this game. They had a couple things that they probably want to take back, but they looked really good this last game. And I think that's some momentum to build on.
You bring up a good point too. That was the Hornets C lineup, and they both dropped 700 score in a game that they lost. Now, your C lineup dropping that many points and barely losing to a B/A lineup for the Coyotes is concerning for the Coyotes, I would say. Like, Hornets were never out of it. So now Dan comes on the field. How does Dan play? And will he be facing against Amazon, their A player? This is interesting.
Definitely. I think you can't... I don't think you can ever be worried after you win a series. Yeah. But I think it's definitely something that's in the back of your mind, as we will not see Amazon versus Dan. You'll see the Hornets A lineup versus Coyotes C. I can do math right.
They're tied on that salary. We can speculate, but sure. I would honestly say the performance that Unsung and Amazon had might be the A lineup. That was really good. So I think I saw someone say that was the B lineup for the Coyotes. So I mean, wait, no, this is C lineup, right? Yeah, 13 and 13. This is C lineup. I'm talking out of my other area. But Semphis trying to find something else. I think he had a great second half performance in the first set. So seeing him come back in this one, I would say is a good decision. But right now, Hornets, they need to win this set. They want that first franchise win under their belt. And the Expert League, I would say one of the most historic leagues to have the biggest upset potential. Might just see it here. Coyotes, they've already won one Expert League title back in Season 4 with Yeti and Comus winning that one out in, I would believe, what was an upset. So they could do it right here. After the Hornets had their number for 2 series, Coyotes win their first one. So could be good for the Coyotes.
Absolutely. Not. One thing of note, I saw Dan in the Expert chat just a bit earlier. He bowls. He bowled his first 300 tonight.
Ooh.
Which is definitely a confidence builder, I'd say. And obviously, congratulations to him. It's a big accomplishment. So we'll see how he's feeling.
It's the weirdest things that'll give you that confidence too. Like, it could be anything, actually. I mean, bowling, yeah, that's a huge achievement outside of the game. Like, that's great. Oh, Hornets. Oh, open net.
Oh.
Wait a second. Nonsense.
Ooh.
Third gets back to it. Never out of the play. That is playing with grit right there, and he can't turn it in for goal. But so close was Nonsense Nerd off the counterattack by himself, too. Impressive, but doesn't come away with it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it could be literally any little thing. I once found like $5 on the ground, and that was enough confidence builder to win Rocket League. So, you know, how must Dan be feeling about that? Well, let's just see. He's in the corner, redirect. Oh, can he follow it up again? No, just barely, but Hornets getting more dangerous with every shot they take. Unsung, though. The GM, the captain, he's going to find the first goal in the second set.
Unsung just comes from the most random places when you're playing against him. It's so frustrating to play against him just because he'll just appear out of nowhere and you're like, well, why are you there? And he's like, well, I'm scoring, so who cares? That kind of feels like what happened there. Like, yeah, he's on top of the ball, but Senfus is probably thinking he has time, and then Unsung just comes over his car.
Unsung has this zero fear game. He just goes. Like, if he's there, he's not moving for you. You are moving for him. He controls this pace. And typically he doesn't get caught for it. I think the only time I've seen him miss was off that double whiff in the first set in game 4. But Dan powers that one through for the equalizer.
No, good pass from Senfus. Ties it up. I mean, we know the Hornets need to win this series. I think it's big for them to get off to a good start. You know, they probably have a little bit of momentum from the last series, even though they lost. It's important for them to maintain that and see how they can integrate Dan against the Coyotes, because he has to be the one who steps up these last two series, I think.
Yeah, Senfus is done after this one, but so is Dan if they can't win it here. So that is something interesting to see. Not Gen A. Well, that's what it says on the website for curiosity's sake. But Amazon coming back in the last one, and so is Flight Night. If we go to 3, could be. Oh no!
Dan's there anyways. It's fine.
Oh, that one hurts. Oh.
That might have been a ghost
I saw that
touch.
one in a popular movie called The Matrix.
Never seen it.
Never seen it? Well, actually, I haven't seen it, so this is even funnier.
Fair enough.
Oh man, Hornets, I mean, take away a goal however you won. That is going to be good for them. And Unsung, again a miss. Huh.
Interesting. See if he keeps it up.
I don't
Makes
want him to
contact
keep
there.
up that.
Fair enough. You want your channel points.
That's also true, yes. But, I mean,
What a bump.
breakdown in, like, the game, like, this is a big game for the Coyotes right now. Not just game 1, but, well, I guess every game you win now puts more pressures on the Hornets, and they're more likely to make mistakes from that, but the Coyotes could end it. I mean, you don't want to falter. It's a lot of Rocket League to be playing. He's played 4 games straight, granted, but that's a lot of Rocket League to be playing, especially Stakes Mountain. Oh, Dan, just barely missing it.
Oh, Hornets are going to want that back. They had a couple good opportunities there. 50 from Nonsense. But I think Hornets are playing a little... Alright, Dan. Alright. I'm not sure they'd accomplish anything, but it looked cool, I guess. Shot from Senfus, though.
I mean, it might not have done anything for that ceiling musty. However, creativity in Rocket League is one of the best ways to score. Because what if he gets away with it? I mean, yeah, sure, it might not do a lot if you mess it up, and it might actually be worse, because then your recovery is messed up. However, if, you know, that creativity, you're going for things that are abnormal to shoot. So the Coyotes don't expect it. It's a lot. It's a lot to then, you know, be careful of. But Dan also shooting for 2 for 10. Oh my gosh. That 10 goals is 10 shots is the most we've seen so far. So I guess keep up the good work, Dan, but Hornets good game, I would say. Coyotes put up a lot of saves. Nonsense Nerd 7. Wow.
Yeah, you wonder
Impressive.
where that shooting accuracy went for Dan. It all went into Nonsense Nerd saves.
Is every shot actually saved?
Hmm?
12? No.
Yeah.
No, it is. Oh my gosh.
Yep, every shot that Dan
Yeah.
took was saved, it looks like.
And same, yeah, and Senfis
And
too.
for Senfis
That is
too.
so Coyotes. Well, I guess there's no questions about the defense, but that passing play offense that we saw definitely wasn't clicking as much from the Coyotes. So it's an area to work on. But I do believe that Amazon brought in a lot of that infield passing play, and I think that's just one of the play styles that you have with 3-man rosters. Like, how do Nonsense Nerd and Unsung now translate that defense into offense coming into the next one? Because Hornets, well, they won game 1 of the last set, and we saw how that ended. But Senfis with 2 back-to-back bumps opens it all up for Dane.
I'm not sure he meant to get those bumps, but he will not complain. Oh yeah, he just wanted boost. You asked him, he'd be like, "Yeah, I just want to boost there." I mean, I think one of the things you want to look for the Coyotes is the Hornets got a lot of really long clears that weren't really punished, especially from Dan. So I think you need to see about punishing some of those long clears and not letting the Hornets just play ping pong. It'll go a long way, but you also just gotta keep the ball out of your half like this. Unsung, good pass to Nonsense Nerd, and that's gonna be in. You're gonna tie up the game real quick.
All-in play from Senfis too. Maybe he just thought Dan was gonna get that a little bit better. But Unsung just that much faster to it. Nonsense. I don't think the Coyotes have really missed an open net yet, but there's your little curse. Maybe that will get something rolling for the Hornets to go in their favor. But that kickoff, no way is this just gonna go in. Okay, Senfis, great job. Senfis on defense has been fairly solid. Some of the clears not the greatest, but the defense might just get picked apart. The demos definitely translating over from the first set, despite Flight Night not being in here. Oh, 50 is huge, but it's just not going to find its way.
Nonsense. I mean, it's tough for the Coyotes, I think, because you're still not getting a lot of that sustained pressure that you want. It's been, a lot of long clears and capitalizing on mistakes, and we really need to see them get a set offensive play going. Nonsense will take this in the corner, but you gotta get some sustained pressure and not let the Hornets just keep the ball in your half like this the entire time.
Coyotes. Oh man, Dan going up to the ceiling is really throwing a wrench in for the Coyotes. Because when do you challenge that? Do you challenge it when it's just a bit too late, Dan? Oh, the post was not that kind to him there.
I mean, we see just what that ceiling touch creates. Nobody wants to challenge that because you don't know if you can actually hit that, right? An expert, you don't know if he's actually going to hit it or if he's just going to whiff, and then you're really dumb when you are flying past the ball where the ball was. What a bump from Dan on a shot from Senfis.
Back to the old bread and butter of what works best. 2 whiffs followed up by a bump and an open net for Senfis to shoot at. Incredible.
Boy. It was Flight Night running the bumps before, but I think it's just a Hornets thing, really, not a Flight Night specific thing.
Oh no, Ken. What happens if we get Dan and Flight Night on the same field?
Death.
We actually just go to a demolition derby after that. Most demos wins the 3rd set.
We're playing Wreckfest now. Ooh.
Okay.
Wait, that's just open. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's a really good play from Senfis, and he didn't hit the ball.
Well, one thing that definitely has not changed is the Hornets overcommitting, I would say. They catch themselves off into the Coyotes half a little bit too much. They might have a little bit too much trust in each other to get these 50 wins, get the beat to the ball, and it backfires a lot. Dan getting demo for his efforts. Senfis now challenged all in as the last one. Dan has to make a great clear. He does get away with it, but it is just that much riskier of a play to go for.
I think we're seeing a lot of parallels between the first series and this one, where it's the lower salary team gets some creative goals off of demos and just capitalizing on mistakes, while the other team maybe is forcing things a little harder than they need to. And I think if the Hornets slow down a little bit and maybe take control a little bit more, I think it'll be tough for the Coyotes. But again, it's can they make that adjustment? Good bump from Dan. Jeez.
One of the very rare instances of I'm gonna get the bump, be there for the shot, it just doesn't go through. Dan open net, but being pressured by Unsung might have been a little bit too much panic to handle. Nonsense, trying to get it started, but Senfis just being a body in the way. Unsung with the control. Oh, Senfis huge, 50 cents into the sky, and Kenny turned it around for the goal. Nonsense, they're on the race back, cannot get there. Senfis, an absolute brick wall on the goal line and a cannon of a shot on offense.
That 50 might have broken the sound barrier. Hard to see, hard to tell. But that 50 it's unlucky for the Coyotes. You really like the idea. You like, going for that control. That works, I guess. I'm not going to say they wanted to do that, but they'll take it, I guess.
Oh, you don't practice
whiff?
Team bump clears, Ken?
I can't say it's my main source of practice. The Hornets are going to score here. Yeah, really easy goal for Dan there with no Coyotes back. And I can't say the team bumps are something we practice regularly. Maybe we should have. Maybe that's how you beat the Coyotes, the Hornets.
I would definitely not advise against the team bumps, but the Coyotes do get a little bit too aggressive there and get punished for it. But Hornets, a sweep in this one? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's out of nowhere, but this has definitely been a good game. I don't want to say the Hornets have dominated, but they've looked a lot more consistent with Dan on the field. And coming out into the last set, that's a huge confidence booster, I think, because Flight Knight is now getting ready to play. Senfis, he's finishing strong. He's been playing just as long as Unsung has, but Senfis has now finally, I would say, taken over his control of the game.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely doing a very good job supporting. I'd say supporting Dan, but he's really been the one driving most of the offense this game, it feels like. Which is something really awkward from the Hornets. And I think that's something you just brush off. You hold on for this game. But I think really saw Flight Knight being a lot of the driving force behind the offense in the first series. We didn't really see Senfis allowed to create for himself a lot, which I think is an interesting, how do you adapt with different lineups? And I think that's one of the things that, might be the difference maker. I will say that this lineup for the... Ooh, what a shot. Wait. We might have a game on our hands, actually.
This has now become within reach for the Coyotes, and, they hunted for that last goal in the fourth game of the first set. They could very well pull off that kind of pressure again. I think they might be a little bit too defensive, but, Nonsense Nerd, if he could push up that back line a little bit farther, the beat's there from Senfis. Dan, very low off kickoff. Dunsung, open net's gonna equalize.
Oh, this feels like something that just shifts an entire series. Like, how do you come back from a 3-goal lead in 30 seconds?
5-2 was the scoreline. We are now tied up in what surely was going to be the Hornets going to match point. Might just be the Coyotes equalizing the second set. Overtime in game 2. Oh, Senfis, what the heck was that?
Come on.
Welcome to the Expert League.
Well, that's anticlimactic, isn't it? Wow. Well, good game for the Hornets. Nothing to see here. Nothing happened. Clean win from them.
Yeah, 5-2 lead. How could they ever lose it?
Yeah.
Almost crazy to think that they could lose that, but wow. Coyotes, I mean, it hurts. It hurts to have that happen. But I think what's even worse about all of that, yeah, sure, they were down, but they were also, they realistically didn't have a chance if, Hornets didn't, I guess, fumble it. But um, a mistake from Nonsense Nerd, because he has to play out the rest of the set if it goes to the third one. It could just be like a doubt thing creeping into the mind. It could be anything as simple as that. So don't let that affect you. Like, every single game is new. You got 3 more potentially for the Coyotes to win this one. A reverse sweep in the second set would be wild to win it. But I'm not going to say anything because that would be a curse or something.
What? You should say that again, though. I didn't quite hear you. You want to make sure, really, I want to make sure I knew what you said.
So I don't get angry DMs from general managers and captains. I'm going to refrain from my comments. But Hornets could win this one in a sweep, and that is a load off for them if they could just get back in this set and bring it within 1.
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting. This is the lineup for the Hornets that actually lost in the semifinals. Because their game against us went all 3 series. And it was Dan and Senfis that we were able to really, it felt, pick apart. I didn't play in that series, conveniently. That's how we were able to win this, because I didn't play. That's a different conversation. What an attempt from Dan and some pressure on. And I think they've looked very different than they did in that series. They've looked a lot more comfortable in terms of their spacing. I think it's a big difference between those 2 series.
Yeah. And I think Senfis is the biggest highlight player from, I would say, both games, actually, from both teams. Senfis is one of the lower salaries. I would say maybe people have a little bit higher opinion of Flight Knight, but Senfis has definitely been in there. He's played in FPL for a while, but I think he's definitely one of the more consistent low salaries you're going to get. And the fact that he's playing this good in both of the sets, I mean, he might not have won the first one, but he has definitely not gone away. I don't think any player has actually underperformed. I think the lowest score we had was maybe when it was like 4 shots for each in game 3. So these teams are definitely kind of trading back and forth, but no one's really playing bad. I think this is just all around good expert league rocking.
I think overall, like, nobody's really, like you said, nobody's had a really bad game. Demo Senfis will buy some time, shot on, but over. And I think, if you're the Coyotes, it's kind of similar to the Hornets, where you're like, the Hornets in that first series, where you're like, try and get wins and try and, see if we can sneak one out. But the last series, I think, is what both teams are expecting this to come down to, the way the lineups have played out.
Yeah, and what lineup? Wait, it would be B lineup for the Hornets, and it would be
one of the B lineups for the Coyotes.
So, statistically speaking, this is actually followed the way that it should with lineup usages. Like B or A beats C, C beats A, and then we get like B depending on how Coyotes determine it. But this is my ideal grand finals. This is great. I love this.
Yeah, your script's actually working this time?
I know, people actually followed it this time around.
Crazy. How's that feel? You actually have your work appreciated.
And after watching some of these other playoff rounds go, it's pretty nice. We'll have to see. 0-0 on the clock, by the way. This is
Yeah, this is a pretty slow-paced game.
Now, is this Hornets slowing down after those 2 really great wins, or is this Coyotes really trying to not lose?
I think we've just seen Dan kind of fumble some touches and not really get the control, and then it's been a lot of back and forth without either team really getting a ton of control. So there hasn't been a lot of opportunities. So I think if Dan just cleans it up a little bit more, the Hornets will be able to get that control, because I haven't really seen anything from the Coyotes that suggests that what they're doing is gonna create a ton of offense for themselves.
Yeah, and you know, they've had their offense. There's, you know, saves on each side. Like, it's not bad. The Hornets shooting for 4 right now. And 3 of those were actually saved. And, you know, likewise, the Coyotes take 2 shots and the Hornets have 2 saves. So there's only 1 shot unaccounted for in terms of a save. So these teams, they're just not finding anything quite threatening enough. I mean, Nonsense Nerd sends another one towards the net, but I don't think any team's really willing to commit that second man like they have been for so long. This clear actually could be very dangerous for the Coyotes. I was going to say the Rams, but Dan, the man, comes away with the first goal.
Yeah, that was danger. Had a danger written all over it as soon as it went up. Nonsense actually gets a touch, and maybe if he didn't, that might not have gone in. It didn't look like Dan really had a shot until the touch came through. But you have to go for that if you're Nonsense.
I think you said it in game 1. The uncontested clears from the Hornets is definitely one of the things that helped them get that first game win. And, you know, it now comes back to bite the Coyotes. And Unsung, I would say, has been performing really well. But now, if the Hornets win this, he has to watch. He has to watch Nonsense and Amazon take over. And likewise, I think Senfis might feel a little bit easier after winning this game. You know, the mental fortitude of the players is definitely there because, you know, lost the first set. You know, the Hornets definitely had it a little bit maybe rougher, like, hey, we gotta win this now. But then the Coyotes, like, a lot off their shoulders. But now you're going the other way, and the Hornets have just tied it up. We're going to the last set, so whose mental is a little bit better when the Coyotes know that they could have won it, especially how that game 2 would have ended out, what would have happened for the rest of it. But Hornets in a sweep, bring it back. It's good looks for them for the rest of it.
Yep, and at this point, we just have a completely normal best of 5. That's all it comes down to.
Why did we even need the first 2? What is this?
Yeah, like what? This format's stupid, Chris. Why do you do this? But in all honesty, like, I think this is what you expect in these finals: is both teams showing their strengths where they're able to capitalize, and it comes down to one series. And interestingly, both captains not playing in the last series.
Oh, Senfis the captain for the Hornets. Oh man, that is interesting. And you know what's even funnier? Both GMs are also not playing in it. Granted, Anson Star League, but still, that stands true. So, interesting enough, Coyotes could be joining a very prestigious franchise group for more. They could have their 3rd championship win on record. And Hornets look to just join the group of franchises with a win. So both these teams, the franchises, are playing for a lot. And you know what? I want to see how many demos can we register between Flight Night and Dan going into this one. And also, how do Amazon and Nonsense play together? I think this is going to be my biggest question, because you kind of figure out Dan and Flight Night are going to be a very aggressive duo, but can Amazon make that passing play connect with Nonsense? Because I didn't really see a lot of that with Unsung and Nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we gotta run the bonk counter for the Hornets, see how many they can get, and we gotta see how the Coyotes can deal with that. You know, some of it's playing faster, just not letting yourself get caught up to. But good touch from Dan. That was dangerous for a second. But I think a lot of it's also just you gotta be forcing them to play a little slower, maybe not let them just chase you around.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? We might not see 15, but we could get 13 games here and really see how this format starts to affect players. Amazon right off the crossbar. Nonsense follows it up early for a goal. Coyotes haven't scored the first time in a very long time, but they get the first one here.
Yep, Amazon picking right back where he left off, delivering passes into the midfield for his teammate to capitalize on. Nonsense might have a shot here. Save from Flight Night. Game 1 of the 3rd set of this best of 3 of best of 5s.
It doesn't get any easier to say it.
Nope.
Oh man. Flight Night, oh, not going to challenge Amazon. Already beat to that one. Dan, going to take it up the sidewall. Look for that infield pass to Flight Night. Oh, It's on target, but just a little bit too weak to really handle it. Nonsense. Like that corner boost. Might just need it for Dan. 50 back into the corner. Still looking in field for that pass. The Hornets, really tight rotations right now. Always turning in that corner to follow up pressure. It's a very dangerous way to play, especially when you get counterattacks like that. Oh, but the pinch off the crossbar. Flight Knight. Excellent play to keep it out.
Dan pulled out the protractor for that one.
Miscalculated by an inch. Oh, a nonsense. Not a good enough 50 to keep it counting. Flight Knight trying to make it awkward out of the corner. Amazon looking. That's a great 50. This back wall, though, that ball has been so close, like right in between the back wall and the goal post so many times in this game. And one of these times, a player is just going to 50 that 40 or 50 times against the wall, and it's going to go. I guarantee it with a 89% confidence on it.
That doesn't sound like a guarantee. You know what is a guarantee, though? Flight Knight getting a 50 into the net every game, it feels like.
Definitely. I mean, this is the aggression that I think I expected to see from this Hornets lineup. They're everywhere. They don't want to give up any space. And that is what is dangerous about this roster, because if they can rotate fast enough to keep it safe on the defense too, Coyotes have a lot to work on if that's the case. This could now be an issue.
Shot from Dan. What's the bumps? Not a demo, but Hornets will take it.
Oh my gosh. Like, you just take the shot at the defender. If the clear isn't the best, just go for the bumps then. It's the bread and butter. They just return to it. And that might be tilting. Amazon had to deal with it earlier. Now it's right back. What do you do? It's annoying to deal with, but it's something that they're gonna have to figure out. They've only got 3 games to do it at the very least, so we'll have to see, because Nonsense trying to clear some space for his team. Amazon gets it around Flight Knight for now and has the 1v1 against Dan. Flick, high, top shelf. Oh, pinch off the crossbar. Nonsense 50 doesn't go in. The Coyotes on the hunt. Nonsense plays it around. Nothing more in the tank. Flight Knight drops down for Dan. Amazon trying to come through with maybe a little cheeky shot into that corner. The Coyotes right back in the Hornets half.
Nonsense is looking for a pass, didn't quite get it. This will still go mid though. Amazon dunks Dan. Amazon just there faster.
Huh. You know what? Mechanical issues. Anyone watching, this is a very good thing to notice. Don't over air roll. That is something that can be easily done. It is something that is the difference maker right there between the Hornets saving that and the Hornets letting that ball in, because Dan, rotates a little bit too far over and, gets the wrong side of the card, doesn't find a contact. It's a very small mistake that's made, but, it leads to a goal. The Hornets, now have to get the lead back, and something they might not want to do. They've actually won every game won so far, and it's a nice trend, but you got to win the rest of it to make it count. Nonsense picks it away off the infield. Coyotes have the lead.
And I think this is where we see those stylistic differences really, really coming to a head. We see these passing attempts from the Hornets. The Coyotes are really able to intercept a lot. We saw it a lot in the first series, and saw it there again. And I think a lot of it comes down to the play styles of those top salaries. For Dan, it's a lot of aerial stuff. We've seen him on the ceiling. We've seen him the random musty. And for Amazon, we see a lot of ground play and infield passes and a lot more team-oriented stuff. So it's really a conflict of styles here in this last series.
Yeah, Flight Knight trying to start something for his team. Dan, oh, that's a great fake. Amazon at the midfield line. Dan Flick just trying to bait out Amazon for something. Oh, the infield Flight Knight just backed off. Didn't like the way that it was looking 20 seconds ago. Hornets, while they may have a very strong offensive rotation, they really are hesitant to break out of that midfield. backflip. Doesn't find anything more. Hornets need a 0-second equalizer. Amazon gets the demo. When you thought it was just the Hornets style, Coyotes try to end it just with that. This one's still up, though. Oh, my God. Couldn't call it any closer than that.
That's a good. That'll set a good tone for us for the rest of the series. I think both teams showing their strengths, making some mistakes, and really putting on a good show.
Oh man, Hornets. They lose their first game 1. I don't think. Don't worry about that too much. It's water under the bridge at this point. However, it is of concern to see how they lose it, because I don't think, out of all the Hornets lineups, this is the one that I'm not too sure about. There's really no one on the defensive line willing to take that first 50 when they need to get possession back, and that kind of concerns me. Because Senfis was always the one to do that. He was pushing that midfield line, buying the space for Flight Knight and Dan to move forward. But now, Flight Knight and Dan, one of them has to take that role and then, continue the play off of that. They both want to continue that play. They want that goal. Who doesn't want a goal? It's great. However, someone's got to do the grunt work. And now I think that neither of them want to do it. Who fills in that Senfis role? I think that's one of the highlights that I took away from Senfis's gameplay, because I think I'm still impressed with Senfis. I think he was the best one on the field so far. But the Hornets, you really want to win this game. You don't want to go to match point this early, because then a reverse sweep is needed, and it's a disaster.
Absolutely. Damn. Ooh, doesn't get the double. And, if you're... I think, as we see a demo, where are the bonks? The bonk counter's at 0 after that first game for the Hornets. Yeah, we had a good bump play, but no demos. Well, as soon as I say it, there's one. Is that a caster curse? I'm not sure.
It was
really
more like
curse,
expected.
Though? Yeah.
It's kind of like ringing the dinner bell. Like, you kind of know it's coming, and it's just a matter of time before, they actually say it's ready. Oh, but the 50 is so close, yet so far to the goal. I think Hornets playing that... They're playing... I don't want to say alone, but they're definitely trying to take things by themselves. Flight Knight's going to score first. Off of some good pressure from Dan. Following that last touch, you might just drop to the floor and say forget about it, but he follows that one through, gets that 50, makes it work for Flight Knight to come through. Excellent play from the Hornets, but we want to make... I want to see it a little bit more confident in that goal.
Absolutely. I think for... it's a good start for the Hornets, though, right? You don't really care how you score.
Yeah.
At this point, you're just like, give us a lead, give us some breathing room. Obviously, you don't want to go down 2-0, like you said. Reverse sweeps are not easy to come by. Really good touch from Nonsense, actually. He's made some good touches, it feels like. He hasn't been like the most threatening offensive presence, but like his midfield touches have been really solid in both series.
Yeah, you know what? I think that just goes back to the fact that I don't think anyone's had a terrible game at all. I mean, there's like, low score if you want to count
Amazon.
that. Oh, nice shot there, Amazon. It's just bad clear from Dan. Didn't have a lot of control. Nonsense comes through with that 50, and Coyotes just strike so fast. I mean, they're just there and they go for it, all in every time. You got to be a little bit faster transitioning out of defense, and I think the Hornets, they want that space to work with, and they're not getting it at all. They need to really break through first. Nonsense already on something. It might be looking for a second demo, but Amazon keeps it away. Dan, not a great 50 to push it through.
Ooh, Amazon's gonna shoot this. Yep, great shot from him to that just into the corner away from Dan. And I think it's interesting you bring up space. Make sure we get space, because we haven't really seen Dan in the air at all. The Coyotes have done a great job of shutting down the aerial attack that we said was one of Dan's main styles was the air, and we have not seen that at all this series.
And another one might be raining through. Amazon hunting right off the kickoff. Nonsense. High pop is a little bit awkward to deal with. Dan hunting the demo. Flight Knight didn't want to push up too soon. And the demo does open up the field. Shout out. Was it Stoobs that registered the bonk counter in Season 2?
He's definitely where I got bonk from.
Shout out him. The only person to score above 100 goals in the season, by the way. Still an FDL legend, even though he hasn't won a championship in a while. He's still one of the greats, and he did it in this expert league. Fun facts with Quack.
Fun facts with Quack. Fair enough. That's a catchy name.
Thank you. I'm thinking of rebranding everything. No more Rocket League, just fun facts.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Dan in the air.
Oh, wait.
Finally see it, and he's...
Oh!
How did that not go in?
Yeah, that's the right question, Ken. I don't have the answer for it, though, because all he had to do was put it, just under the crossbar, and he had all the boost to do it, too. He just didn't. I mean, yeah, open nets are the hardest thing to hit sometimes. Oh, that one's not going to miss, though. They just wanted the demo for confidence. That's all it was. Just make sure you get the demo before the goal. It's like, you have to. It's Pavlov at this point.
Bonk's up to 3. And, I mean, that's impossible to defend if you're the Coyotes. What are you going to do? Don't get demoed, I guess. Quick whiff from Dan. And Nonsense, and Spell's just going to stay in the corner.
Man. This series does kind of give me some issues, though, because the Hornets are trailing, and I don't think the shooting accuracy and everything that I've seen is enough confidence to say that, this might be a reverse sweep situation, but it's definitely looking more likely. Nonsense. Gonna turn at midfield for that. Dan thought he would have some time, but now he's just looking for boost to work with. Flight Knight only as far as Amazon allows it. Nonsense to follow up for the second touch. Awkward on the goal line. Amazon trying to 50 both Hornets players. Doesn't come away with 30 seconds on the clock. Can we see a best of 3 out of this best of 3 out of best of 5s? And we'll just get closer and closer to maybe an inevitable best of 1. How great would it be? Dan trying to clear it. Amazon waiting on that sidewall. Dangerous. Oh, across the goal line. Flight Knight can't get the heart racing, but final 10 to go.
He beats him. It's another one, Dan. Is he there to shoot it?
Oh.
It's on.
No.
Nope. Here we go to overtime. Dan's got to be kicking himself.
I think that's the first open net whiff we've seen. And I don't want to say it's anything yet, but it could be fatigue. Oh, Flight Knight's got to make that save. Amazon all in for that one, but Hornets scrambling to get control. Dan, he's looking for the demo. He wants it. Amazon couldn't save it. Nonsense does. What a save. Avoiding the demo. Chase them out of net. Dan shot off again. Nonsense. Can he find contact? Oh, it's off the post. Oh my goodness. My heart is racing right now. Dan, the flick. Nonsense finally breaks out. Oh my gosh. 0 to 100 really quick.
Hornets are back on attack again. Oh, what a sequence. Nonsense coming in clutch, weaving through traffic, dodging the demo, making the save, and somehow getting a good clear flight out of the shot, though. Just off to the side.
Man, huge 50. It's an open net.
It's open.
Flight Knight saved it.
Amazon gets there.
Amazon. Oh my goodness.
And the Hornets keep the pressure going.
I mean, yeah, but how much longer can the Coyotes stand for? Because this is taxing defense that they have to put on. Dan, no boost. Flight Knight beat by Nonsense off the post. Dan, 50 out. It's again an open net for the Hornets. But Flight Knight off the recovery, no boost in hand, has to collect the mid. Gets it around. Nonsense, great bump. Dan beat.
Flight Knight can get there, though.
Yeah, but the question is, does he want to? Dan also Looked like he wanted to go for it. 2 minutes into overtime. Not a very confident clear from Dan. But to follow it up, long shot on target. Nonsense. Easily dealt with. Flight Knight, 1v1 situation now. Early shot, gonna take it into the corner. 2 minutes has elapsed in overtime. We still go.
Let's slow down for just a second. Damn, looks like he got a boost there. Gets the 100 and will clear this over the net. Good pinch, but not quite good enough. Amazon beats one. Flight Knight with a good clear though. Dan, the whiff. Flight Knight's gonna take though.
The whiffs
In this corner.
getting more and more prevalent. Nonsense! On the tight angle! Oh my goodness! We go to match point! Hornets! They need a reverse sweep for their first championship. Oh my goodness, Nonsense stepped up huge in this game.
I mean, the defensive stands, he gets the winner in overtime. I mean, the defense in overtime is ridiculous from him. He dodged so many bumps and was just always in the right place. And if you're the Hornets, you threw everything at him in that overtime, and you couldn't break it. And what do you do now?
Oh my gosh.
What do the Hornets do to get the reverse sweep going? You take it one game at a time, but if the Coyotes play defense like they did in overtime, there is zero chance. That Coyotes defense looked absolutely bend but don't break.
I mean, what do you do? I think it just comes down to the shooting accuracy from the Hornets. They had so many opportunities. It was Dan off the crossbar for the one in regulation. Just couldn't find it. Again, at 0 seconds, Dan takes a shot. It's a little bit wide. It's so close for the Hornets to take the win. But it might be nerves getting to them. They need to slow it down. Take a breather. You don't need to play faster than the Coyotes. They're not playing that fast. They are just they are playing probability right now. What is going to get the goal, or what is going to be the most effective touch for us? Coyotes might just find themselves another Expert League championship and run it back. They took a break. They would actually be, I think, the first team to win, then lose, and then come back for a win, and an open net for Amazon. Oh, that is not the start the Hornets want.
Absolutely not. Flight Knight with a just awkward touch. I think even if he gets that touch, that might be a goal. But I think you're right. The Hornets got to slow down a bit. Looks like they're rushing things, and like the opportunities were there. They obviously can hang with the Coyotes. They just have to make smart decisions. Good touch from Nonsense. His defense and like just his presence in mind to make these really smart touches has been impressive so far.
You know what? Nonsense. I wasn't really looking at him in that second. There was a few mistakes, especially that kickoff goal that lost him the incredible 5-2 comeback. Nonsense messed that one up. But now in this third set, looks like a completely different player. He's playing with so much confidence in this one. It's incredible, and he's still following it up. Amazon finally able to take over, extend the pressure, but the Coyotes looking so good. Dan tries to find a shot, but Nonsense, he's not overcommitted. He's just barely, he's in that perfect middle ground. And I think that's the one person, if you want to demo anyone, take Nonsense out. He is controlling a lot of the field with very little kind of notice.
Absolutely. I think you're seeing that some of the shooting was come back for the Hornets again. Might have had an opportunity there. Dan with a shot here. That might drop in. Just right off the crossbar, but that shooting's got to improve. Still winnable, but you gotta make the opportunities count, because you're not going to get that many of them, it looks like.
Dan taking that shot too. Flight Knight back to Dan in the corner. Just a little bit too high. Can't find anything else. But Dan off the back wall. No touch there. Flight Knight gonna back up. Take a little bit too much space. Nonsense will take care of that. Has a flip in hand? No. Just one touchdown into the midfield.
Flight Knight
Dan
might find
finds
this.
Flight Knight, but no contact again. It's very difficult situation now. Coyotes not behind the ball. Nonsense. Gonna force them to take a touch. Oh, Amazon a little bit too awkward. Dan equalizes.
Good shot from Dan. Kind of opportunistic. Just Amazon backwards. I mean, it's a shot. It's a goal you'll take because you need every opportunity you can get. But I don't think that's how they want the offense to be operating right now. And I think you're absolutely right. You got to take out Nonsense. Double click from the Hornets. This might get punished.
Oh man, and I think that goal actually is a good one for the Hornets to get. Oh, just barely missing it. Any boost, I think Nonsense has that one, but the fact that the Hornets can come away with a goal like that, it didn't take too much out of them. It was just, put it on net. It's as simple as that. You don't need crazy mechanical stuff. Dan Hunting, Nonsense away with it. Turns it back towards Flight Knight. Amazon clears the line. It's just a little bit of a taste before the main course. It's a big tease right now on the field for the demos. And one of these teams might overextend and get the goal, but the other one might get punished for it. Amazon, no shot. Dan just needs to put it on target. Back around to it. Nonsense again. Incredible.
Utter nonsense. I hate myself.
Quack type joke. Quack type joke.
Alright, back to the game. Dan gonna take it up the wall. And not really accomplish much. I mean, he used all his boost and didn't really get a good clear. I think he might be pressing a bit, looking for things that aren't really there. Flight Knight with a chance, but Nonsense is there again. And now he might have an open net.
Wait. Dan just stopped. I actually think Dan could have rotated back and gotten to that. He just stopped playing out of the corner. Nonsense.
I think it would have been tough to get there. I think you're right. I think that might have been.
Ooh,
that's unfortunate.
This is tilt factor now for the Hornets. They've got a minute left to stay in it. But I think that those little signs right there might just be tilt setting in. Dan. Oh, he's got a lot of space off kickoff. Oh, Amazon. It's an own goal. No, it's not. It's Amazon to save it. Oh, my gosh. Nonsense. In the midfield, too, to keep it up. Great 50. Dan comes through. Flight Knight runs interference, however. Oh, no. The Coyotes. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. All I know is what? Oh my gosh.
Nonsense is still there.
Coyotes, they're still hunting.
Fun.
Dan needs to save Amazon. Gonna be denied on that one, but looks for the demo. Doesn't come away with boost or the demo. Flight Knight has Dan infield. Will he take it himself? Over one. Dan completely turns the wrong way. I don't know why he didn't jump for that. Dan in the midfield. Nonsense. Control is key right now. Amazon takes one off the field, but Nonsense lights out performance right now.
20 seconds. Hornets got to get a good clearance, get that offense set. Dan with a bang that's off, but he might have a shot still.
Yes. No, it's on the
post.
6 seconds.
Coyotes.
Coyotes.
Flight Knight, he's got the challenge.
Only need to kill it. Flight Knight cannot contact Coyotes. Win set 1 and 3 and come away with the Expert League Championship. Oh my goodness. What a win.
Wow. Nonsense. I don't know if we do MVPs of series. But
I don't think you could pick one out.
I don't think you can pick one out, but recency bias, it's absolutely nonsense in this. The last set, nonsense all the way. The defense was insane. I mean, Amazon made some really good saves too, but that defense. And the overtime winner, Nonsense absolutely stepped up when it mattered the most.
Oh my gosh, and my heart. I don't know if my heart can handle this right now. That was incredible. I mean, simply incredible from the Coyotes. They started it off great. They finished it great. That middle ground too, where the Hornets won, Coyotes didn't look bad. I think no one looked bad in this series at all. I just think that the Coyotes stepped it up huge.
Yeah, no, Coyotes definitely they stepped up when it mattered, and they got so many. I mean, that defense. And I'm just going to keep going back to that because it was so impressive. They just kept finding ways to pull rabbits out of the hat every time. Every time you think the Hornets have this amazing opportunity, here they are, all three of them. Congratulations, guys! That was impressive.
That was one of the best grand finals I've seen in a very long time. How are you guys feeling?
Saucy.
Insane.
Yeah, no kidding. Surprised.
Surprised?
Yeah, I didn't think we won yet, and when he told me, I was like ready for game 3 or 5 or whatever we were on.
Oh my goodness.
You know, you're probably just so in the moment. You're like, you were just in that game, not in the series at all. Just one game at a time.
I guess, yeah, that's how Unsung put it. Anyways, he told me just to wait for Dan to boom the ball. That's all I did.
Obviously, it worked.
Yeah, for sure. My lord.
Well, you know what, Amazon. I just gotta ask you first. You've been grinding for this win for a very long time, and I gotta. Is it bitter? Is it sweet? How does it finally taste? Because me and Kin are still waiting for ours.
I don't know. I feel like mid-season, Unsung and Nonsense really just sort of carried the series over. So I'm just kind of surprised we ended up in the grand finals because of my bad performance earlier on, but it turned out fine. Yeah, it feels good, I guess. Kind of anticlimactic in a sense, but it is what it is.
Oh my gosh. I mean, not Unsung as well. GM. You have had your trials in this season alone, and I won't harp too much on those. But you come back with this team, you win it in season 4, I believe. You come back season 6 for that win, and you're the first franchise to actually lose in between your championship wins. So you know what? Congrats to you. That's impressive in its own right. But how does it feel for you? Are you now a 2-time or?
No, I'm single. This is my first.
Wait, you weren't GM at the time.
Nope.
Who was GM?
Toucan?
Was Toucan the GM? Oh, he was. Wait, I'm all confused now. I need to go in the FDL history books. But congrats, Unsung, your first championship. Wow, we just got a first for everyone in here, and you've been hunting for a while too. So, I mean, I don't want to list any MVPs because I don't think anyone really truly played bad in that series from both sides. But Unsung and Amazon, that first set, your teamwork, brilliant. Lights out performance. Nonsense. Your saves in that third set, immaculate to say the very least. You guys, well-oiled machine through and through. I mean, Expert League championships. Yeah.
You know, me and Amazon's been chasing this ever since the Dragon days. You know, when I first joined this league. Very proud of these boys. You know, they never gave up. You know, through all the whiffs, through all the frustration, broken controllers, you name it. You know, we just never gave up. So pretty proud of them.
Absolutely something to be proud of too. Kin, do you have anything for the boys?
Congratulations, guys. It was impressive. Glad you could take down the Hornets after we lost to them. And Nonsense, your defense in that last series. I mean, so many goal line stands. Gotta be stressful, but it was super impressive.
Thank you,
carried
yeah.
that.
Preach. Yeah, that was stressful.
Actually, Amazon, you're good friends with Reaper, right?
Reaper?
Yeah.
No. Who's this?
Oh. I might just say it might just be something to hold over him for a little bit. I'm not saying too much, but
Okay.
You know, I just want to shout out to my FTL teammate Ant. You know, the GM of the Hornets.
Oh shit.
He we ain't gonna go there. He's a good guy. But definitely, definitely couldn't ask for a better series. That was very fun. Glad we were there.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyone else with any shout outs? Nonsense?
Um, I want to thank my roommate Rob for the warm up earlier. Yeah, we really had to get into town, but honestly, I think my Michelob Ultra pulled me through. I think that's what it was. Whew.
Awesome. Amazon, any shout outs?
I want to shout out Gomi. That was an interesting. I just remember that set, and he definitely helped out a lot in some aspects. So improved gameplay and such.
I'd like to get one more shout out.
Oh, yeah.
My 2 daughters. No, it's a little late for the matches tonight. They couldn't watch, but they've been cheering all season. They just, it's awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually probably the most beautiful interview I've ever heard unsung. I'm not even gonna lie. That actually just warmed my heart that you have your family also like rooting for you on the background. That is the most wholesome shout out I've ever heard. I'm not gonna lie. You get a special award for that. Good father award right there. But it is 12:40 in the morning. That is all we have for that is wraps on season 6. What an endurance it has been this season. Congratulations to our final champions, the Coyotes, Expert League for the last time. But we've got Christmas Clash, I believe, coming up next week. Be looking out for the ping over the weekend for that. But for right now, I'm Chris with the K, joined by Ken, Original Thor, our great streamer for tonight. Everyone, have a great night. We will see you next season.